Alright guys, back here with another video, and this time we're doing a little different. We're going to have a discussion with me and my teammate Claudio, and we're going to discuss about a few things that people asked me to make a video about. First of all, we're going to talk about Charlotte, the event that we just had this past weekend, and how it went, and I'm going to let Claudio, as a first-time teammate with the team, discuss his experience first.
Yeah, so Charlotte was cool. I mean, I've been to Orlando, Richmond, and Charlotte, and I expected the same thing to be a gruesome day, long day, starts early and finishes late and stuff. It's pretty hard to maintain your composure, I guess, throughout the day. All I think about is just how I'm gonna play, what my strategy is, my turn one, my turn two, and what my end goal is, and obviously adjust to whatever deck I'm playing against. I'm gonna give you an example actually. So my deck was, I prepared my deck to be against androids, right? The cell chain. I thought that I was going to see a lot of androids. Fortunately for me, I guess, I didn't see one android, right? Not one cell chain, not one android. It was Mecha Frieza, Golden Frieza, Cell, and then everything else was Soul Striker. So mirror match all day. So I went into time. It was very excruciating, but I still made it. They just focus on what I had to do. Analyze. You gotta analyze the play. I had to deck out 3 people because it was the best option for me at that time to win. But let me go into the Cell matchup, right? I was like, all right, cool. I got Cell, right? Now I can actually use my objections or do what I was practicing to do. And he was attacking me, right? So I was protecting my life. But then I saw he was playing red, and I realized he wasn't playing the Cell chain. So I gotta completely redo my game state, like in my mind. I'm like, all right, cool. Now I don't mind him hitting me. I don't mind him awakening me. You know, so those are the things that you gotta be looking out for, being focused on. Focus on your plays. Focus on what your player or your opponent is playing. Don't worry about what he's saying or how much cards he's shuffling or how much time is left. Just focus on what you're doing. Don't get psyched out. I know it gets tiring, but I think if you know what you're doing and you just focus on you, just take a breather after the match is over, drink some water, and move on to the next match. But I mean, overall, I like. Oh, and also we the day before on Friday, we were in the team house with the kitchen table meta, Dusty, and everybody else, and we were playtesting. Right? They were playtesting up to what, like 2 in the morning.
I didn't go to sleep till 3.
Yeah, both nights. It was awesome though. It was not like we're tired. Well, we were tired, but it was very good to see teammates giving us ideas and exchanging ideas, discussing why we're not playing that card and why we are playing that card. So it was. I actually, like, I don't know if you've seen before. I don't play, like, we never played objection in the main, and once I talked to my teammates, they made a good point, and I trusted them, and they trust their idea, and I main decked 3 objections, and they went well for me, right? So those testing the whole night and looking at what they were playing and how they were playing it helped me build my deck and made it better than other Soul Strikers.
Fair enough. Another thing to consider, a lot of players that watch this channel and that are actually playing Dragon Ball now come from Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Has a 40-minute round. And there's only typically 8 to 9 rounds. It depends on the event. It's a bit on size. So they have 40-minute rounds, and games are very, very rapid and fast and quick. In this game, the games can last up to 12 turns or more per player. Yeah. And in Yu-Gi-Oh, it can be done in 1 turn or 2. And that's crazy, right? So, but there's a lot of things that you can't really compare to Yu-Gi-Oh! In the system. You have to know a lot of combos. In this game, there's not too many terrible combos you need to learn. You just need to know matchups and how to protect your life and make sure that you stay at a point where you don't die, so you can make it to the next turn. But it's a very big difference. A lot of players that were there, my friend Dan Brown, he said that he wanted to know how to make sure that you last throughout the event because he got really tired by round 5. Because he's already played at that point more time than a Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament in like by round 4, because we play 60-minute rounds, and then Yu-Gi goes into time. That's 75 minutes for a round. That is a lot of time. Yep. When I play Yu-Gi-Oh! If I OTK'd them, I could be done in 10 minutes. And that's a completely different game.
Yep.
In this game, you can't do that. Another thing to consider, like you said, be prepared what you're going to see at an event. So I expected to see a lot of this. Now, when you expect to see a lot of this, the hard counter for this deck, for androids, is right here. So we had a lot of mecha and a lot of androids in the top cut. This is actually a very good thing to think about because I'm playing Soul Strike. I have a good matchup against this deck in the sense that I can just grind and live, and eventually they'll draw into a lot of extra cards and they can't use those to defend themselves. In this deck, you just have to play really smart against them. I played in round 8, I played against Android. I played round 3 Androids, unlike Claudio, and I 2-0'd every single one of them because I had played against my friend Scott numerous times, and if they don't draw as well as Scott does, I beat them. And this is a funny way to think about it. John draws about as good as Scott, so I lost to John in top 32. Cabo is a very amazing card. But another thing to think about, next set, there's a lot of innovative things going to be happening. There's there's going to be another 12 leaders introduced after starter decks and the set 3. So we got 12 more leaders to worry about, and you have to worry about more black cards. Yes, this is a new black card. It's amazing. Now, it's not going to say replace this card in every deck, but these cards are very good, and they will be played in every deck, maybe in certain ratios. There's also other black cards that are coming out that are very good as well, especially with the Xeno Trunks that evolves on top of this guy. He's really good. And you have to worry about those when you're deck building. And then you have to worry about Mecha Frieza. So Mecha Frieza is the most versatile leader of the next set. They give us more extra cards. It's not unbeatable, but it is very unfair in the sense that you can start off on turn 2 with the field full of dudes. And there's a lot of deck building things you can do. You can play the Great Apes, you can play the new red cards, you can play the green Kaba KO package and have with the Planet Vegeta, and you can be awakened turn 1 most games because you're playing like at least 12 extra cards that allow you to help you awaken that are good on turn 1 that actually plus you cards. So you can awaken and defend yourself for the first 4 turns of the game, and then by that point your field's already big and you protect your field with Cold Bloodlust. So if your opponent isn't playing Mecha, they can't actually catch up to you. There's also a bunch of other like ways to go about Mecha Frieza. You can still play Cooler. That is still a viable engine. The Cooler engine, where you can just spam a bunch of dudes and defend yourself with those. Those are actually a valuable option, especially at the next set with the more defensive yellow cards. There's a lot of decks to worry about. You still have Vegeta that is like a hard counter to this deck if they don't draw as well. But if you're awakened on turn 1 against Vegeta, they can't creep you for like 4 turns. So it's pretty good. You have to worry about those. Anything else you want to add about the next set, Claudio?
No, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I'm very excited that it's coming up next week, and I'm looking forward to building new decks and seeing everybody's idea. We've seen some ideas already, right? Like
I've seen a bunch of
we've seen that second turn 2, the secret rare.
And you can put it on turn 2.
Yeah, and his whole field. It was amazing. I saw it, and it's very intriguing. And I like seeing that. I like seeing how people get creative with the decks.
All the super rares in the set, for the most part, are all good. Well, there's a few that are okay.
Yeah.
Like the green Android, is that 13?
Which one?
No, not 13. Was it the big Android? Is that Android 15? The big one? Or is it 13? Sorry, Android 13. He's pretty good, but he's a little gimmicky. They also made it to where the 14 was a little nerfed, but he's pretty good. He's like a Gohan for you budget players. And then, but he's not as good as Gohan in my opinion, but he's still very good because he's 20k.
No, also just regular cards like the Goku, the yellow Goku that comes into play and draws a card. I think it's just amazing.
Oh yeah, he can draw a card from your life.
Yeah, so like we're gonna see. Yeah, like you said, this Mecha Frieza is gonna be very, very valuable next.
And you have to worry about the other yellow leaders too.
Yeah, like I think Galactic Frieza is gonna come.
Galactic Frieza with that card,
yeah. So I'm looking forward to all that. I'm looking forward to everybody's ideas and everybody's building deck. It's like I like seeing that, and like Trey is a very good deck builder, and I'm actually looking forward to building decks with him as well.
Of course.
So.
Next set, there's gonna be so many ways to build decks. For example, the new blue Goku leader, you can play any color with that guy. Just because he's a blue leader doesn't restrict you to what you're doing. You can literally, on turn 1, discard a card, you get 2 energies from your life, so you have a turn 1 objection by itself, and you're that close to awakening at 4, and then he allows you to tap out and untap 3 energies on your turn. So it gives you access to playing green cards or red cards that allow you don't need more than 6 energy because that's one of his like drawbacks. So you can awaken, and he also draws you cards still when he awakens, unlike some of the leaders. That's why this guy becomes a little less relevant. A lot of the leaders, like Pan, they don't draw 2 cards when they awaken. They're drawing on their front side, and then when they awaken, they untap 2 energies, which is another thing that's interesting about what they're doing in the game, because we don't know what they could do to our future leaders. We don't know if they're going to draw 2, we don't know if they're going to untap 2, or search for a card or 2. There's a lot of things they could do with it. So another thing to look at is that leader I was talking about. It's cool because it's like it's already built to play red cards, just because you only need up to 5 energies, and you're just already that much closer to playing a turn 2 Gohan or a turn 2 critical Trunks, and the next turn he's still alive. Most likely they can't kill it, so you just start pressuring them with that leader. And